What up, YouTube, and welcome back to the second installment of In Case You Missed It. The reason for this series is to showcase recent 7 Days to Die news that you might have missed. In this episode today, we are going to go over what they showcased during the dev stream between Lathan Meadows and co-founder of the Fun Pimps, MadMole himself, Joel Heunink. So let's jump right in and take a look at the new features and items coming to Alpha 19 that they covered during the stream. Now, just being here watching the video is all I can really ask for, but if you'd like to go above and beyond and support the channel further, consider dropping a like, subscribing, and sharing the content. I really appreciate you being here, so without further ado, let's get on with it. First, let's cover the Integrated Survival System, or ISS for short. It's been in place for a bit now, but was reworked for Alpha 19. The developers felt as though the system through Alpha 18 was kind of hard for players to understand, so changes were made to enhance it. One thing they've added is the crit system. The crit system is an injury-based RPG element new to Alpha 19. So during your battles with the undead, you can suffer a number of new injuries. Instead of your health bar blacking out for no apparent reason, it's now because of a critical injury you've suffered. Examples of these injuries are infections, broken arms and legs, concussions, and lacerations, all of which will need to be dealt with immediately in different ways to repair your health to full. So a break is going to require a cast, lacerations require a sewing kit to close, and concussions will require pain pills. MadMole also mentioned that your vision will be blurred occasionally until the concussion is dealt with using meds. The goals of these changes are to remove the veil of invincibility the player feels while fighting, while providing more immersion at the same time. On that note, let's talk about the looting system. That too has been reworked and, in my opinion, slightly improved. The Fun Pimps have added, in their words, a Stone Age to the early game. And what they mean by this is it's going to be a lot harder to get geared up now. The loot progression is now slower and a bit grindier. So no more finding that level 4 double barrel shotty in the very first purse you search. I can see this being a divisive issue among players. Some are going to love this shit and others are going to be turned off by it. One thing's for sure though, I'm going to have to get my hands on it before I give my final opinion. Let me know down in the comments how you guys feel. Are you for this change? Did you like the old system? Or would you rework it in a different way? A cool thing that might come from these changes though, is players will most likely craft a lot more. So instead of finding the guns we want, we'll instead just make them. That's a concept I can get behind because it'll lend more importance to leveling up and finding schematics. Next, Joel covered the new candy items added to Alpha 19. The only way to get candy in-game is by purchasing them from a vending machine found throughout the world. There are 11 new candy items, starting with Atom Junkies. These provide a 50% buff to explosive damage and last for 5 minutes. Covert Cats provide a 50% buff to sneak damage and also last for 5 minutes. Eye Candy grants you a loot bonus of plus 35 and lasts for 5 minutes. Hackers gives you a buff to salvaging of 20% and lasts for 10 minutes. Health Bar gives you an extra plus 10 to your max health, plus 50 to your armor critical resist, and 200% to your natural critical health. Jailbreakers grants you 100% lock-picking ability and lasts for 10 minutes. Now, I don't know if this one wears off after breaking into a safe, or if you can just open as many as you want in those 10 minutes, but if it's the latter, this shit's OP. Nerd Tats provides a buff to stun batons that lasts for 5 minutes and causes a chain reaction to multiple zombies at once. Think of it as like a lightning strike throughout the zombies. Oh Shit's Drops negate all fall damage for 5 minutes. Possibly OP. Rockbusters harvest 20% more of whatever you're mining at the time and lasts for 10 minutes. Skull Crushers provides a 50% buff to all melee damage and lasts for 5 minutes. And last but not least, Sugar Butts, which grants you a plus 10% to sold items and 10% off purchased items at the trader. All candy gives you +5 to your food bar. There's also a greater incentive to cook the high-tier foods in Alpha 19. Now the foods you cook will provide a max stamina buff of between 10 and 40% and no longer gives you food poisoning. So this means Master Chef is now a perk that you'll at least consider using in Alpha 19. Once you've eaten the food, you'll notice down on the bottom left of your screen all the buffs it provides. A new feature in Alpha 19 is the new hyperlink system. You can now click on those buffs and it'll take you directly to the pertinent information to further explain what's shown. I really like this feature because I'm positive that there were players in the past that didn't even realize this info was there. Speaking of those skill points that we all agonize over spending, the Fun Pimps have reworked the way skill trees work in Alpha 19, and the reason for this rebalance was to kind of trim the fat, so to speak. They wanted to get rid of those skills that weren't worth it to the player to spend our skill points on. Most changes are just minor tweaks, but let's cover those now. In Perception, Lockpicking, the Infiltrator, and Animal Tracker were all reduced to 3 levels, down from 5. The Penetrator was also lowered, but to 4 instead of 3 like the former. Treasure Hunter is a new addition to the skill tree, and it requires 3 levels to complete. This was removed from the Lucky Looter perk from Alpha 18 to create its own here. Moving on to Strength, they've added Heavy Armor, which used to be in Fortitude, and it now only requires 4 levels to max out as opposed to 5 in Alpha 18. The reason for the switch was to kinda nerf the Fortitude skill tree. The developers felt it was a tad OP. Only other change here in Strength is the reduction of Sexual Tyrannosaurus from 5 levels to 4. In Fortitude, Well Insulated, Living Off the Land, and Rule 1 Cardio were all reduced from 5 to 3. They also mentioned that they nerfed Healing Factor. Now they failed to give any details as to how it was nerfed, but I looked into it, and at level 1, now compared to level 1 in Alpha 19, instead of gaining 1 HP per 60 seconds, you now will only gain 1 HP per 90. So it's not quite the end of the world, just a slight nerf. In Agility, all Athletics perks were reduced to 3 or 4, down from 5 to complete. And finally, Intellect. Here, the Daring Adventurer was reduced to 4 levels. Yeah, Science was completely cut, and the skills were moved to other relevant skills in Intellect. And Tourette Syndrome was renamed Robotics Inventor. Continuing on now with more perk-related items, the Fun Pimps have added 3 new perk books to Alpha 19. They've added Bar Brawling to enhance your hand-to-hand combat, Spear Hunter to enhance your spear game, and last but not least, they've added Tech Junkie. Mwah! This one's my favorite new addition by far. Finding Volume 3 of this series teaches you to craft AP ammo for your junk turret. And Volume 4 teaches you to make shells for your turret sidekick, turning him or her into a makeshift shotgun. Great additions in my opinion, and I can't wait to use these. And finally today, let's talk about some of the new weapons and tools coming to us in Alpha 19 that I didn't cover in the first episode. To check that out, just click the top right of your screen on the card now. First, we've got the new salvaging tools, the Ratchet and the Impact Driver. Both are upgrades from the traditional wrench we all know and love. So needless to say, we will be taking apart cars a lot faster in this alpha. They tried to show some of the junk sledge in action, but from what we saw, it wasn't quite ready to show. It didn't even work the way they wanted to, but they assured us it would by the time we got our hands on it. Something I was surprised to see was a new Tier 2 assault rifle akin to the AK. A semi-auto rifle that uses 7.62 ammo, and from the looks of this footage is powerful as hell. I'm so excited to get my mitts on this beast. MadMole mentioned that this gun handles real good and it feels even better than the AK. So guys, that's going to do it for part 2 of my previews of Alpha 19. From this point on, I feel it would be redundant to make any more of these videos. I think we've covered the important stuff. So be on the lookout for Alpha 19 content on this very channel as soon as it's available. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you'd like to speak with me directly, you can follow me on Twitter at BeatinBuzzers. I also live stream on Twitch under the very same name. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.